When you have nothing, everyone disappears. When you have something, everyone appears. So tell me, who's your real friend? Have you ever noticed how people suddenly start noticing you when you begin to rise? When you're doing well, everyone wants to be a part of your story. They smile wider, speak sweeter, and pretend they were always there. But the truth is, most of them weren't. They just saw the light you created and wanted to stand close enough to feel its warmth. The moment that light fades or shifts away from them, they'll step back without hesitation. That's the reality of human nature. People don't always love you. They love what you can give them. It might be money, attention, influence, or simply the energy you carry when you're successful. And when that energy no longer benefits them, they move on pretending you never existed. In life, it's easy to believe that the people cheering for you are genuinely happy for you. But be careful. Some cheers are only loud because people want to be heard, not because they truly care. Many will celebrate your success publicly, but envy it privately. They will smile when you win, but secretly compare their lives to yours, asking themselves, why not me? And that's when jealousy begins to hide behind fake praise. The sad part is that most people don't even realize they're doing it. It's a natural instinct. People are drawn to power, success, and status. They don't see the sweat, the nights without sleep, or the struggles behind the scenes. They only see the outcome, the results. They don't care about how hard you worked, only how much you earned. When you start from nothing, you learn who truly values you. Because when you have nothing, there's nothing for people to take. Only those who stay during that phase, when your dreams are uncertain and your path is blurry. Those are the ones who love you for you. But they are rare. Most people prefer to appear when the picture is already painted, not when the canvas is blank. They wait until your vision becomes visible, until your struggle becomes success. Then they'll say, I always believed in you. But where were they when you needed a small word of encouragement? Where were they when you failed, when you doubted yourself, when you had no one to talk to? You see, love and loyalty are easy to claim when times are easy. The real test happens when there's nothing to gain from standing beside you. That's why you must learn to observe, not just listen. Pay attention to who claps when you win and who stays silent. Watch who comforts you when you lose and who disappears. True friends don't need you to be rich, famous, or perfect. They need you to be yourself. But fake ones, they only need your benefits. They want to be seen with you when you shine, but will avoid you when your light dims. Their loyalty is conditional based on your usefulness to them. So don't be surprised when people change. Success only reveals what was already hidden. It doesn't make people fake. It just unmasks them. And here's the biggest mistake we make. We assume that everyone's heart works like ours. We think if we're genuine, others will be too. But the world doesn't operate on fairness. It operates on self-interest. People look at you as a source of something: emotional support, financial help, influence, entertainment, or validation. When that source dries up, their connection fades. That doesn't mean you should become cold or stop trusting everyone. No, it means you must be aware. Keep your kindness, but add boundaries. Keep your generosity, but add wisdom. Help others, but don't expect them to help you back in the same way. That expectation is what leads to disappointment. Give freely, but without depending emotionally on what returns to you. That's how you protect your peace in a world that runs on self-interest. Let me tell you something important. The more successful you become, the lonelier it gets. Not because people hate you, but because they start to see you differently. Some will see you as competition, some as a threat, and some as an opportunity. Very few will see you as a human being. They'll forget that behind your achievements is a person who still feels pain, still gets tired, still needs love and support. When you realize this, you stop expecting too much from others. You start building emotional independence. You learn to appreciate silence more than shallow praise, and you find peace in solitude instead of crowded rooms full of fake smiles. You learn that being alone doesn't mean being lonely. It means being safe from those who only pretend to care. So, the next time someone suddenly becomes overly kind when you succeed, pause for a moment and ask yourself, were they this kind when I had nothing? Because the answer to that question will tell you everything. Real friends don't change with circumstances. They stay the same whether you're flying or falling. But people who only love what you have, they'll vanish as fast as they appeared. Therefore, don't attach your happiness to people's presence. Attach it to your purpose. Build your success quietly, stay humble, and keep your heart open but guarded. Because in this world, the ones who love what you have will come and go. But the few who love who you are will stay, even when you have nothing left to offer. Growth sounds beautiful when you hear about it. Success, achievement, respect, and recognition. But what no one tells you is that growth is also a journey of isolation. The more you rise, the quieter your surroundings become. The same people who once cheered for you start stepping back. Some step back out of jealousy, others out of fear, and a few because your crest reminds them of what they haven't done. You don't change, your priorities do. But in their eyes, that's enough to call you different. What they fail to see is that growth isn't about leaving people behind. It's about outgrowing situations that no longer fit your purpose. You begin to see the world differently, think differently, and act differently. And those who still live in their comfort zones start calling your discipline, arrogance, and your silence a go. When you decide to chase something bigger than ordinary life, loneliness becomes your uninvited companion. You'll notice the laughter around you fading. The people who once spent hours with you will now be too busy. The conversations that once motivated you will start to sound shallow. Suddenly, you won't fit into the same circles anymore because you've changed. Your mind is now focused on goals, not gossip. You start valuing peace over parties, purpose over popularity, and clarity over company. And that's when you realize the path to greatness is not crowded. It's quiet, cold, and sometimes painfully empty. But that silence, that loneliness, is where your real transformation begins. See, the crowd loves comfort. They love staying where it's easy, safe, and familiar. But growth demands sacrifice. It asks you to step into the unknown, to leave behind the people who refuse to move forward. You can try to drag them with you, but they'll resist. They'll call you crazy, over-ambitious, even selfish. But they don't understand. You're not walking away from them. You're walking toward your future. The truth is, not everyone you start with will finish with you. Some were only meant for a chapter, not the entire story. The higher you go, the fewer people can breathe at that altitude. And that's okay. Don't hate them for staying where they are. Just don't stop climbing because they're afraid to rise. Loneliness during growth is not a punishment. It's preparation. It's the world's way of testing how badly you want what you say you want. Because when no one claps, no one motivates, and no one understands you, the only thing left to drive you is your own belief. And if that belief survives, you're ready for success. Most people quit because they can't handle silence. They mistake solitude for sadness. But in truth, solitude is power. It gives you the space to think, to create, and to hear your inner voice clearly. When you stop depending on external validation, you stop fearing rejection. You no longer need people to believe in your dreams because you've learned to believe in yourself. That's when growth becomes unstoppable. But there's another side to this loneliness. It teaches you to value relationships differently. You stop chasing crowds. You stop trying to please everyone. Instead, you begin to appreciate the rare few who truly understand you, not for your success, but for your spirit. You learn to treasure quality over quantity. A single honest friend becomes more valuable than 100 fake supporters. And slowly, you build a circle not of people who entertain you, but of people who elevate you. Because at the top, it's not about who's loudest, it's about who's loyal. The journey filters everyone, and what remains are those who belong in your life's next chapter. As you grow, remember this: loneliness is not your enemy, comfort is. Comfort keeps you small, while loneliness builds your strength. Every sleepless night, every quiet morning, every moment you spend working while others rest, that's where champions are made. You might not see the reward immediately, but those silent hours are your investment. And when the results finally come, you'll look back and realize that the loneliness was worth it. Because while everyone else was talking, you were building. While they were doubting, you were improving. And while they were laughing, you were growing. So if you ever find yourself feeling lonely on your journey, don't be discouraged. It's not a sign you're on the wrong path. It's a sign you're evolving beyond your surroundings. The noise fades when focus arrives. The crowd disappears when commitment appears. The road narrows, but your vision sharpens. You'll start walking alone, but soon, the right people, the real ones, will find you. Because growth may isolate you at first, but it never leaves you empty. It replaces noise with purpose, drama with direction, and fake friends with genuine peace. And when that happens, you'll understand that the loneliness you once feared was actually the space you needed to become who you were meant to be. The biggest mistake people make is believing that everyone around them wants to see them win. The truth is, not everyone clapping for you is happy for you. Some clap just to blend in. Some smile only to hide their envy. And some listen carefully, not because they care, but because they're collecting information. That's why silence is not weakness, it's strategy. When you talk too much about your dreams, you give others the power to judge, mock, or block them. The less people know about your next move, the harder it becomes for them to interfere. Because the more visible your plans are, the more vulnerable they become. Think about it. Even nature teaches us this lesson. The seed doesn't announce that it's going to become a tree. It grows quietly beneath the soil, hidden from eyes and untouched by envy. Only when it's strong enough to survive the storm does it break through the ground. That's how your dreams should be. Hidden, protected, growing in silence. The noise of your goals should come after they're achieved, not before. People who constantly talk about what they're going to do rarely do it. But those who stay quiet and work behind closed doors, they shock the world. Because the world never saw them coming. That's the power of privacy. There's a dangerous habit in today's world, oversharing. We share everything. Plans, ideas, struggles, even pain. We talk about what we're building before we've built it. We tell people our strategies, forgetting that not everyone who listens wishes us well. Some are silently hoping you'll fail so they can feel better about not trying. Some will even copy your ideas or use your weaknesses against you. And here's the irony. The same people who cheer you in public may compete with you in private. That's why you must learn to protect your progress from public exposure. The more mysterious you are, the more unpredictable you become. And unpredictability is power. Silence doesn't mean isolation. It means understanding that words are energy. And not everyone deserves access to your energy. Your dream is like a newborn child, fragile in the beginning, needing care, time, and protection. If you expose it too early, the wrong energy can harm it. People will discourage you, laugh at your ambition, or plant doubts in your mind. They'll say, it's too hard, or you can't do that, not because you can't, but because they couldn't. Their limitations will be disguised as advice. And if you listen too much, you'll start to shrink your dream to fit their comfort. That's why silence is your shield. Protect your ideas until they're strong enough to survive judgment. When you move silently, your actions become louder. You stop wasting time trying to prove things to people. You stop explaining yourself to those who will never understand. You begin to realize that success doesn't need explanation. It needs execution. Let your work be your response, your results be your defense, and your progress be your proof. Talk less, move smart, and let time do the talking for you. Remember, people can attack your words, but they can't argue with your results. The more quietly you move, the more unstoppable you become. Because when no one knows what's coming, they can't prepare to stop it. Another powerful reason to stay silent is peace. The less you share, the fewer opinions you attract. Everyone has something to say, and most of it isn't useful. When you announce your plans, you invite noise, suggestions, doubts, and criticism. Some people will project their fears onto you, and you'll start questioning yourself. But when you keep your vision private, your focus remains pure. You work without comparison. You create without pressure. And one day, when your success becomes visible, people will say, you changed overnight. They won't realize that it took you years of quiet effort to reach that moment. That's the beauty of moving in silence. Your growth looks sudden, but it's been building all along. Never underestimate the power of surprise. In a world where everyone is broadcasting every step, mystery is rare, and rare is powerful. Keep your moves silent, not because you're scared, But because you're smart, the fewer people who know your path, the less interference you face. Silence builds focus. Focus builds consistency. And consistency builds empires. Remember, even the most dangerous predators don't roar before they strike. They move quietly, strategically, confidently. Be the same with your goals. Let your actions make the noise, not your mouth. So stop announcing your dreams to people who can't even understand your vision. Stop explaining your plans to minds too small to see your picture. Stop giving access to those who haven't earned your trust. Protect your ideas, guard your energy, and let your results speak for themselves. Because the more quietly you move, the stronger your impact becomes. And one day, when your success echoes through the world, those who doubted you will wonder how you did it. That's when you'll smile. Not because you proved them wrong, but because you proved yourself right. Kindness is one of the most beautiful traits a person can have. But if you're not careful, it can also become the reason you get hurt. The world often confuses kindness with weakness. When you are gentle, people assume you're easy to manipulate. When you forgive, they think you've forgotten. When you help, they start expecting. And when you keep giving, they stop valuing. That's the sad truth. If you're kind without boundaries, you'll attract users, not supporters. You'll find yourself giving your time, energy, and trust to people who never plan to give it back. Kindness is power, but only when it's guided by wisdom. The problem is not that kind people exist. The problem is that kind people don't always see the danger of over-giving. You can pour your heart into others, but if you keep pouring into empty hands, you'll end up empty yourself. Many people will come to you with smiles and sweet words, but behind those smiles are motives. Some want attention, some want help, and some simply want to see how much they can take before you break. That's why you must learn to read intentions, not words. Watch how people act when you say no, because that's when the mask falls off. A person who only respects you when you're useful never respected you at all. Being kind doesn't mean saying yes to everything. It doesn't mean accepting disrespect just to keep peace. True kindness sometimes means saying no. It means walking away from people who misuse your goodness. It means helping others without destroying yourself. Remember, you can't pour from an empty cup. If you keep giving to everyone, you'll have nothing left for yourself. And the painful truth is, when you collapse, the same people you helped will move on without looking back. They'll find another kind soul to drain. That's how the cycle works, unless you learn to set limits. Boundaries don't make you cruel. They make your kindness sustainable. Here's something most people never say aloud. There's a difference between good-hearted and naive. Being good-hearted is strength. It means you stay true to your values despite the world's cruelty. But being naive means you ignore the signs of manipulation and call it loyalty. You keep believing people will change even when they've shown you their pattern 100 times. You forgive without reflection, you trust without reason, and you suffer silently, all in the name of kindness. But that's not kindness, that's blindness. And blindness in relationships, friendships, and business costs more than money. It costs your peace, confidence, and time. There's nothing wrong with being kind. The world needs it. But kindness without awareness is like giving a knife to someone who doesn't know how to handle it. They'll end up hurting you and themselves. Be kind, but observe. Help people, but don't rescue them from lessons they need to learn. Sometimes walking away is the kindest thing you can do for them and for yourself. If you always fix people's problems, they'll never learn responsibility. If you always forgive betrayal, they'll never learn respect. If you always stay quiet about how you feel, they'll think you're okay with being mistreated. And the longer you tolerate it, the harder it becomes to stop it. There's strength in soft hearts, but even softness needs structure. You must protect your goodness with wisdom, like a diamond protected by glass. Because once people sense you'll tolerate anything, they'll start testing your limits. They'll borrow your kindness until it's broken. But when you begin to set boundaries, those same people will call you changed, selfish, or cold. Let them talk. You're not changing. You're evolving. You're learning that being kind doesn't mean being available to everyone. You're learning that peace is more valuable than approval. You're learning that saying no is not rude, It's necessary. And understand this, you don't owe everyone an explanation for your kindness or your boundaries. You don't have to justify who you choose to help and who you choose to distance yourself from. Not everyone deserves your heart, and not everyone appreciates it. Some people are only lessons, not lifelong connections. Once you see their intentions clearly, don't try to repaint them with excuses. Believe what they show you. Protect your kindness from those who feed on it. The world needs good people, but not broken ones. Don't let others destroy your warmth just because they're cold. In the end, kindness is not about how much you give. It's about how wisely you give. Help those who respect your help. Love those who reciprocate your love. Forgive, but don't forget the lesson. Be compassionate, but stay cautious. Life is too short to keep bleeding for people who wouldn't bandage your wounds. So yes, be kind, smile often, help out where you can, but do it with open eyes. Because when kindness meets awareness, it becomes a superpower. One that protects you from being used, while still allowing you to make the world a better place. Life has a way of teaching the hardest lessons in solitude. No one can truly walk your path for you. You can have mentors, friends, and supporters, but the moments that define your character, the moments that test your courage, resilience, and determination happen when you are alone. Success, failure, and the decisions that shape your future cannot be shared. They must be owned. That's why learning to walk alone is not a choice. It's a necessity. If you wait for people to support every step, you will never move forward. The world does not pause for anyone. And the sooner you accept that, the stronger you become. Walking alone is uncomfortable at first. People look at you strangely when you refuse to follow the crowd. They whisper, question, and doubt your decisions. When everyone else takes the easy path, you're the one climbing the steep hill with no one to cheer you on. And yes, loneliness stings. It's human to want companionship, encouragement, and validation. But the truth is, the journey to greatness is rarely accompanied by applause. You will encounter moments when no one believes in your vision, when no one shares your passion, and when no one offers a helping hand. That's when walking alone becomes not just necessary, but powerful. There's a unique clarity that comes with solitude. When you walk alone, distractions fade. Peer pressure, opinions, and expectations vanish. You begin to listen to yourself, your instincts, your purpose, your inner voice. And that voice is stronger than any advice you will ever get from others. Walking alone forces you to trust yourself, make your own decisions, and stand by them. It teaches self-reliance in a way that no mentor or friend ever can. Every step you take alone builds confidence, resilience, and character. It's in those solitary steps that leaders are forged. Walking alone also teaches you the harsh truth about people. Many will cheer when you start small but leave when you dream big. Some will stand by you in convenience but vanish in crisis. You learn to stop depending on others for motivation or validation. The world doesn't owe you loyalty. People are with you for their reasons, some genuine, some selfish. And the sooner you realize this, the sooner you free yourself from disappointment. You stop asking for permission, seeking approval, or waiting for encouragement. Instead, you move forward because you have to, not because someone else tells you to. There is also a strange freedom in walking alone. You can take risks without compromise. You can make mistakes without judgment. You can explore new paths without being tied to the opinions or limitations of others. In solitude, you discover who you truly are, your strengths, your weaknesses, and the depth of your potential. You start to embrace discomfort as a teacher and isolation as a tool. You understand that the moments that feel empty are actually filled with growth, insight, and preparation for what's to come. Loneliness becomes your ally, not your enemy. But walking alone doesn't mean rejecting everyone. It means choosing wisely. You learn to distinguish between temporary companions and lifelong allies. You realize that some people are only meant to be part of your journey for a season, to teach a lesson, provide insight, or challenge you. And that's enough. Others, rare as they may be, will stay for the long haul. Walking alone prepares you for both situations. It gives you the courage to let go of the ones who hinder you and the wisdom to cherish the ones who uplift you. And eventually, it gives you the strength to walk confidently in any direction, knowing that even if you are alone, you are never truly lost. Walking alone is not easy, but it is transformative. It teaches patience, endurance, and inner strength. It shows you that reliance on others is temporary, but reliance on yourself is permanent. The roads you walk alone are the ones that shape your destiny. And when you finally reach a point where people recognize your success, it won't feel like validation. It will feel like proof that your solitary journey was worth every lonely step. Because greatness is not achieved by crowds, applause, or followers. It is achieved by those who have the courage to walk alone, even when the path is uncertain, treacherous, and exhausting. So embrace the solitude. Walk alone with purpose. Trust your instincts, follow your vision, and keep moving forward even when the world doesn't walk with you. Because the ability to walk alone is what separates dreamers from doers, followers from leaders, and ordinary lives from extraordinary ones. Energy is the most valuable resource you will ever have. Not money, not time, your energy. It is the force that drives your actions, fuels your focus, and determines the quality of your life. Yet, most people give it away carelessly to anyone who asks, to anyone who demands, or even to those who don't deserve it. They drain themselves in unnecessary arguments, toxic relationships, and meaningless drama. But here's the truth: energy is finite. Once it's gone, it's gone. You cannot earn back wasted emotional, mental, or physical energy. That's why protecting it is not just wise, it is survival. Many people underestimate how much of their energy is spent on things that don't matter. Complaining about others, arguing with negativity, trying to please everyone, or chasing validation. All of these activities silently drain you. You don't notice it at first because it's slow. But over time, the fatigue builds. Your mind becomes clouded, your decisions weaken, and your ability to pursue your dreams diminishes. Energy spent on the wrong people or the wrong situations is energy lost forever. It's like letting gold slip through your fingers while chasing stones. That's why protecting your energy is the first step toward protecting your life. Think about the people around you. Some bring positivity and motivation. Others bring complaints, jealousy, and conflict. Some encourage you to rise. Others secretly hope you fall. The more selective you are about who you allow close to your mind, heart, and time, the stronger you become. You begin to understand that not everyone deserves a piece of your day, a share of your thoughts, or a place in your life. Energy is not a gift to be given freely to everyone. It is currency to be invested wisely. Spend it on growth, on learning, on creation, and on people who genuinely uplift you. Anything else is wasted effort. Protecting your energy also means protecting your mental space. Life is full of distractions, negativity in the news, gossip from friends, endless social comparison, and toxic criticism. If you absorb every negative vibration, your inner fire will dim. You will start doubting yourself, questioning your goals, and losing focus. That's why guarding your energy is more than a physical act. It's a mental discipline. Learn to filter what enters your mind. Choose your company carefully. Say no to conversations, environments, and habits that lower your frequency. Because the higher your energy, the higher your potential. There is a common misconception that being available to everyone is a virtue. It is not. Being constantly available is often exploitation disguised as relationship. People who demand your energy without respect are like leeches. They drain your strength and leave you weaker than before. Learning to distance yourself from such energy vampires is not selfish. It is necessary. You cannot pour into your dreams if you are constantly pouring into others' chaos. Protecting your energy is not arrogance. It is preparation for greatness. It is setting the stage for success without unnecessary friction. Protecting your energy also means protecting your emotional stability. Not every opinion needs your attention. Not every criticism requires your reaction. And not every battle deserves your involvement. The world will try to provoke you, discourage you, and distract you. But if your energy is intact, you remain unshaken. You make decisions with clarity, act with precision, and progress without hesitation. Chaos around you may be loud, but your energy, when protected, creates calm. Calm is power. And power is what allows you to execute your vision, build your dreams, and achieve extraordinary results. The final lesson in protecting your energy is understanding that you are the most important person in your life. Not in arrogance, not in selfishness, but in responsibility. You are the steward of your own mind, body, and spirit. The better you protect your energy, the more productive, creative, and fulfilled you become, the world will demand more. But you are not obligated to give without discernment. Guard your energy like gold because it is your most valuable asset. It determines the quality of every thought, every action, every relationship, and ultimately, every result you achieve. Once you start protecting your energy, life begins to change. You stop being pulled in directions that don't serve you. You become focused, intentional, and unstoppable. Your mind sharpens, your decisions improve, and your heart finds peace. People who once drained you will naturally drift away, leaving space for those who elevate you. And the more you respect your own energy, the more others will respect it too. In this world, energy is your superpower. Protect it fiercely, invest it wisely, and never let anyone steal it from you. Because when your energy is intact, nothing can stop you from becoming everything you were meant to be. Life will never hand you loyalty on a silver platter. People will come and go, some with love, some with selfish intent. But the one person who will always be with you through every rise and fall is yourself. Protect your mind, control your mood, guard your money, and preserve your energy. Be kind, but be careful. Walk alone when you must. Move quietly, act boldly, and trust your instincts above all else. Remember, the world doesn't owe you understanding or friendship. It owes you nothing. But you owe yourself courage, focus, and persistence. Keep growing, keep learning, and keep moving forward, even when no one is by your side. Because in the end, the strongest, wisest, and happiest people are not those who had countless friends. They are those who mastered themselves, protected their energy, and refused to let the world control their destiny.